Warlock versus Warlock. Okay, interesting. We know that it's both handlocks, right? No, no, no. Actually, RDU is playing Sue, so it's Sue versus handlock here, and that's a matchup that can go either way, but it's favored for the handlock, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if Zoo gets a strong enough start, like if you get like double flame him turn one with a coin, sure, it can go actually pretty well for you. But like you said, once you start getting those 8/8 taunts out there, there's only so many ways to remove them.
Yeah, and also the sludge belchers are really, really good. The eggs do play a big part in this matchup though, because you can't just Shadow Flame or Hellfire however you want, compared to the previous version of Zoo before Next Ramas.
Yeah, Naxxramas did a lot for Zoo, but it also did a lot against Zoo because all the cards that Zoo got that were really good essentially give any deck in the game an early game, and a lot of decks were really missing that. You know, things like maybe the Ramp Druid. You can see RDU is actually using a lot of those early game cards to put some pressure out there. So as far as starts, nothing but taps for Amaz's handlock, but there's actually appears to be handlock versus handlock, so I don't think there's any Zoo out
Oh,
here.
oh yeah, right. Sorry, I was thinking about RDU. Sorry, I'm drunk. Go home. Uh,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it's
So
handlock versus handlock.
handlock
Well, to
mirror,
be
yeah.
fair, I believe Trump's handlock deck was actually named something like To the Zoo or something like that, so it
Oh really?
wasn't. It was a little bit deceptive, so it might have trolled us a little bit there. But it's handlock versus handlock, but both decks with a very strong early start. No mountain giants for Trump though just yet.
Yeah. So uh, that mountain giant is gonna be really huge here because he doesn't even have a siphon soul at the moment, so he can't really deal with that mountain giant efficiently.
Yeah, the Mountain Giant coming out here. It'll be turn 5, so maybe a little bit later on, but it doesn't even have to come out this turn. I think it will, and that'll set up perfectly if he has that Sun Fury Protector. But crucially enough, Amaz only taunts up the launcher. Is there any reason for that? Is that more to like protect the Mountain Giant?
Yeah, it's for sure. You don't want to play into something like Shadow Flame and Mortal Coil by trading the Farseer into the Mountain Giant and then Shadow Flaming the Watcher and coiling the Mountain Giant. So now you're protecting the Mountain Giant at all costs, and he still can't get through here a 4/5 with only a Farseer here. Uh, he needs a silence for his Watcher if he wants to do that, but he doesn't have that right now.
Yeah, it's the silence is actually in Amaz's hands, so he's got basically everything that he can do, or everything that he wants right now. He is going to be out of Molten Rages, so his next few turns may be a little bit rough, but at least for the time being, things are looking good for Amaz. So, I mean, how does Trump really clear this? He trades it, and then he's going to Hellfire, but that actually, it hurts his own Watcher. It's not silence, so it's not like he can really do anything, and the Mountain Giant's still on the field.
Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. My stream actually went down here.
So give us a second while we try to fix everything up there. My streams are actually still working, so it does appear as if we're looking just for a desperate attempt at soul firing, and then he actually used the mortal coil first to guarantee that it wasn't discarded by the soul fire. That was 5 damage, and it was enough to clear the giant off the field, but it's still a very strong early start for Maz. And he'll just start to play Sludge Belchers, get those big taunts up in front of him. He's taken enough damage, so Molten Giants are an option in the next couple of turns if he decides to tap those out. But the field, of course, much stronger for Maz, and that is why Trump is going to tap and play a Twilight Drake with 8 health.
Yeah, my stream is still down, so I can't really see what's going on in this game,
Wow.
but
Worst caster role player ever. At least I can offer some commentary. So Amaz, he's going to top deck a Sylvanas. So that's definitely an option. He has 7 mana to work with. Probably not a Sylvanas turn. He does have the ability to draw to Soul Fire or to Siphon Soul here. Can use that on the Drake, but there aren't too many good plays here, so it does look like he's going to go for the Sylvanas. Still has that undamaged Sludge Belcher out there on the field for Maz. Now, Trump has a 4/2 Ancient Watcher and a 4/8 on his Twilight Drake, so he actually has a few more options in hand. He's got an Owl to silence the Sylvanas. Of course, you can also just go for the taunt up both his Ancient Watcher and Drake with an Argus in his hand. He
Yes.
also has a fresh Watcher that he can taunt up too.
Yeah, so now it's back here for me, and looking at the board position, he needs to be afraid of Shadow Flame on that Sylvanas, so that needs to be silenced ASAP. He could also faceless the Sylvanas to counterplay it, but that leaves him open to some kind of risk by him stealing the other Sylvanas as well. So he's gonna taunt up here, and he's gonna silence that Sylvanas. That's what I believe is gonna happen here.
Yeah, almost guaranteed. I mean, at least you have to silence the Sylvanas, because otherwise you have to know that Shadow Flame is coming, regardless. And it's gonna steal the Drake there, and he's gonna double taunt. Where's the silence? There we go. So silence and the double taunt up. So this is actually a very big field for Trump. Now he still has to watch out for the Shadow Flame. It'll still do a lot to clear the board, but at least Amaz won't be stealing any minions back.
Yeah, this is a really, really good play here. But it does have that Shadow Flame, and I do believe this is a Shadow Flame turn here. No matter the scenario. I mean, he could play a Drake here, he could run the Ooze into that 5-6, and then Shadow Flame the Sylvanas to clear the board and have a Drake on the table. And I do believe that's the only play he's gonna be able to make here. There is another play with Argus, but...
Oh, wow. Wait a second. He's going to go for the silence and then Shadow Flame the 2-1.
Oh.
So that's another way of doing this. It does put 2 more damage on his Sylvanas.
But he's not able to play the Drake this turn. And the Drake would have been actually pretty useful considering he already used 1 owl on the Sylvanas.
Yeah, so essentially he trades having the Sylvanas on the board now with the other option, which would have been leaving the Drake on the board previously. But I actually would have liked to see the Drake play.
Yeah, me as well, because now he leaves up a 2-1 as well, which can cause some problems with another Argus. But that's not the case right now, though. But Molten Giants, you want to play that right now? You don't have a Taunter, so you need to be really afraid of dying here. Maybe you just want to play the Siphon Soul here and the Ancient Washer. But yeah, he's gonna go for a risky play here by playing the Molten Giant and healing himself back up. Maybe even power overwhelming that 2-1 to kill the Sylvanas. And I think he needs to do that. And I think we're gonna see that as well.
Yeah, he also... Wait.
Wow. No, he's not doing it.
He is doing it. He's power overwhelming the Leroy, shoving it into the face, and that puts Trump at 2 HP for the Soulfire finish. Holy cow.
Yeah, I was talking about power overwhelming the Argus to clear the Sylvanas to prevent this from happening.
Yeah, but he didn't take care of it at all.
Yeah, that was really, really sloppy play there. He needs to expect a burst like that happening in that turn. I do believe you need to kill that Sylvanas.
Yeah, you had to take that out of the field, but he just didn't recognize it, and that's gonna be a game 1 win. So little bit unfortunate that he didn't see the burst coming and prepare for it. I mean, to be fair, he tried to heal up enough to be out of range, but just wasn't out of there in time. So Trump is gonna move on to play his warrior deck now. Has a Sylvanas in his starting hand, but I think he's gonna mulligan that away. Or what are you looking for as a warrior now that Trump has gone to this deck versus Handlock?
You're looking for executes, you're looking for Acolyte of Pains. I mean, Armor Smiths are nice and all, if you have some kind of follow-up plan, but you need those executes and Acolytes badly. So he's gonna actually mulligan the Armor Smith, which I believe is an okay play here. Would have been fine to keep it, but really need to go for those removals versus Handlock.
Yeah, and as far as mulligans are concerned, we're still waiting on seeing exactly what Trump gets. Took him like a year and a half to draw those cards in there. He gets a shield block, and there's a shield slam, so at least he gets a couple of the cards that he's looking for early on. Draws into another shield slam too, so really good early hand for Trump.
Yeah, might want to consider... Oh wow, double shield slam here with the shield block as well. That's gonna be able to remove the first 2 threats easily. He just armors up here every turn. That Rag and Groom is actually really bad at this point in the game, but having those 2 shield slams can transition him into the late game pretty safely.
Yeah, and I think he's actually going to draw into that execute too. So he's got a ton of early options, and he has these options before Amaz has even put a giant out on the field, even though he has a few of them in his hand. So great early start technically, but it looks like he's going to coin out So he coined out a Watcher early on, and I guess you can do that on the coin. Coin's never something that a handlock wants to see, but it does give him the opportunity for
Yeah,
a
he's still
replay.
gonna be able to play the giant next turn for 4 mana. So coining out that Ancient Watcher with a tap is a decent and good play, I think.
How does Trump deal with this? He's going to be able to armor up and then shield slam, so about the
Yeah,
easiest way to
you
remove
don't
a
you don't
giant.
you don't need to use shield block here. Let's see what he picks up here. So he's picking up a Sledge Belcher, and he can't play that this turn though, because he needed to armor up. So
Yes, so a little bit of a dead turn for him, but he removes the giant off the field, which is pretty much what he was looking for. And he's stuck at 8 armor now, but he has to make sure that he keeps that 8 armor for when the next giant comes around, or at least
Belcher, for sure. However, an Argus here, not gonna make any difference considering the HP of Trump's minion, but it's gonna put up more taunts on the table for Amaz. I'm not sure
yeah.
though. Do you want more taunts here? I mean, you have 2 Molten Giants. Maybe you want to get lower.
And this is kind of the same thing that we saw from Trump previously, where he had the 2 mountain giants in his hand and kept playing cards, so he was never really able to use them. With all these taunts out on the board, those molten giants are going to be dead cards in your hand for 3, 4 more turns.
Yeah, for sure. We're not gonna see them being played anytime, if at all, actually, because if he picks up a Death's Bite here, he's gonna be able to make it so he can actually kill Amaz without ever putting him in Molten Giant range because of that Death Rattle effect from that weapon and Gromage.
Oh my god, yeah, so the burst coming out from both of these guys is going to be absolutely ridiculous. You can see that Amaz actually has 2 parts of the 3-part... Actually, no, he's got Faceless, Leroy, and Power Overwhelming in his hand, so
Yeah,
that
so
is
you got
20 damage turn 10.
all the comp pieces, and also don't forget the Soulfire. That's also an additional 4 damage. But it's gonna be a while until he gets there, and he needs to remove the armor and health until then, some way. And he doesn't have a Drake, he doesn't have a Giant right now, so he has a very low amount of damage on the board, which is not gonna help him kill him by turn 10 with the combo.
Oh my god, yeah. Amaz sitting with 24 damage in his hand at turn 10. But like you said, it's a few turns until there, and 36 health is going to keep Trump out of range for that. So,
Yeah, so
uh,
I do believe that this is a possible Ragnar's turn, but I mean, oh, he shield slams that taunted Ancient Watcher. I don't know, man, if that's the correct play, because he deals no threat when not silenced. So
yeah, and that actually takes out a form of removal that's pretty big against handlocks. And now with Ragnaros coming in, he still has that execute, which is going to be absolutely, to quote Admirable, huge
yeah,
if you run in the Sludge
hitting that,
Belcher in.
like, he's saying that that was a mistake, but hitting the 1/1 doesn't really matter, because he needs to sacrifice one of those 2 minions anyway to enable that execute. So he's gonna faceless here, and he's gonna, oh no, he's gonna play his own rag here. A bit greedy, unless he decides to trade the Sledge Belcher and execute as well.
Now, why would you faceless? I mean, why would you play your own rag here instead of like armor up and then, or the shield block and then faceless? Because it still allows you to use the execute when you suicide your Sledge Belcher.
Yeah, it's more mana efficient, I guess, because you can always faceless the rag later, your own rag or his rag if your rag misses his rag, and you can play other stuff that turn as well. Because right now he doesn't have a lot of options except for just faceless and rag. You won't draw anything useful from the shield block because you already used both shield slams. So
Does just decide to drop the Ragnaros, and that's gonna go down. He'll suicide the Sludge Belcher, get the execute off, and now Ragnaros. You don't have to. It's no mystery. It's just going straight to the face. So now it's up to Amaz. Amaz does have that faceless manipulator in his hand if he wants to go for stealing Rag back once again. But the Siphon Soul is, at the same time, is also a really good way to get rid of
yeah,
it.
the faceless is a really risky play here, because He needs to, if he wants to play the Faceless, he needs to Soulfire the 1-2, and then he might discard something very, very important. You can't just play your Faceless here and hope that it hits the Rag. So I think you need to go for Siphon Soul here, and keep the Faceless for your Leroy combo. But at the same time, you're not drawing into your fucking Giant, so what are you gonna pressure him with until you get your combo? So he's just gonna throw that Faceless up there, forget about his own combo, and just try to go for the win with minions on the board instead.
Well, the combo is definitely there. He's going to save his Siphon Soul, but Amaz has a lot invested in this Ragnaros. So we'll see if it's good enough to get the snipe out there. He's still got 4 extra mana, so I guess he's just going to, yeah, tap for the Twilight Drake.
That Twilight Drake was really huge, and he needs to Soulfire that one too, that's for sure.
Yeah, so 50-50 on the Rag. Does it go to face or does it go to the other Ragnaros? And it does go to face, the Dennis Rag. I don't know if he's too hype about that.
Oh, and he picks up the Black Knight top deck. That's actually huge.
Damn.
That's like, in the spirit of Admirable, that's a huge draw.
Damn. Trump. He's got the Value Town deck going on. He just draws into exactly what he needs.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Like, how much more of a perfect card could you get there? That's the best thing Trump could have drawn.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's gonna start with a shield block here because he is gonna play that Black Knight, so you might as well start with a shield block.
In case he draws a card better than Black Knight.
Yeah, I don't see what that could be. Actually, Execute. No, you don't have enough. Oh, he actually drew the Execute, but you don't have 8 mana, so you can't Faceless his Taunted Rag and play Cleave and Execute the Rag. He's 1 mana short of doing that. So that's quite unfortunate.
Well, I guess the same thing is true. Like, do you just drop the Cleave and Execute as Ragnaros, though?
Yeah, but then you're left with 4 mana and you can't play anything else. I mean, I think the Black Knight is just too good here not to play. Although, at the same time, you're afraid of hitting space here because that leaves him with the possibility of 1 Molten or even 2. And we know that he has 2 Molten Giants in his hand.
Yeah.
And you don't have a Brawl, so...
So he is just going to go for the Faceless here. He Facelesses his own Ragnaros.
Yeah, he's playing around Black Knight here if he has that, but...
Oh, perfect Rag hit number 1. And number 2, though, goes straight to face. So this is...
It's not too bad. If you have double Molten, if you have double Ragnaros, it's okay to hit face there. Even if he plays double Molten here, you have Black Knight to remove it with Taunt, you have Execute. I mean, this is just too good of a position that he's in right now.
So a turn in which a Black Knight is not used on a Taunted Rag. I didn't think I'd ever see that, but like you said, a much better play. Just double Ragnaros out on the field for Trump, and Amaz, the Rags, is turned against him. So he's got a Siphon Soul in his hand. He's got free Giants out there on the board. He can taunt them up. So he's got a lot of options, but he still has to take care of Rags.
Yeah. That's just gonna prolong the game a bit, but I mean... he really needs... I mean, what could he tap for here? I mean, he could tap for a Siphon Soul, a Shadow Flame. Oh my god,
baby! My god!
That's actually huge.
That's ridiculous. I was thinking to myself, all right, how do you... Oh, and then he just draws the Shadow Flame. So double Molten Giants. He's going to taunt up the shield on the board, so that just means Shadow Flame. The value. Oh my god.
Yeah, and also... Yeah, he needed to taunt up that Molten Giant because possibility of like Groom and stuff, but that's just gonna get Black Knighted now. And then he's gonna cleave and clear up the rest pretty easily. So this is still looking really, really good here for Trump.
Oh my god, yeah, so big plays on both sides, clearing 2 Ragnaros in 1 turn. That's pretty monstrous. So things here are going to turn back to Amaz. He doesn't have a lot in his hand. Keep in mind, he had that big combo with like the Faceless Leroy, but he doesn't anymore. He's just got that power overwhelming there. That's Drake, Mountain Giant, stuff in his hand to play. He doesn't want to tap here because I don't know. Is 4 equal to 2? Like, as far as health is concerned, I mean, he's pretty dead to anything anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you need that taunt right now. You need to know that, like...
Oh. He draws the anti-taunt, so...
Yeah.
I don't know,
this
Kev.
is over. It's over.
Yeah, this is
If
coming
it would
down
have, if it
to
would
it.
have just
Yeah, so this game is over, and finally, Trump finds the answer to Amaz's handlock. It took him out game one, but now he's bringing it right back, and Gramash to the face with a fiery win axe. And that'll be Trump taking down second game of the series. So, man, keeping it close there. Amaz will tap out there. He'll go down, and that will give Trump the win. So, I guess that was his Trump card in the end. I'm going to pretend I didn't say that. I'm actually going to need an infinite amount of snoozes to make up for that. But, oh my god. All right. Well, we're going to get into the next game of the series.
yeah.
And this time around, it's actually going to be Trump's Warrior versus Amaz's Priest. So, the test of who can die to fatigue first.
In my opinion, because if you just save your cards, like you save all your big minions until you get your Alexstrasza, and then you just Alexstrasza, you then follow that up with like Rag, you follow that up with Gromage, like it's too much pressure. But if you play them separately, the priest actually has a good chance because he can just Shadow or Death the first one, then wait a few turns, mind control the next one. But they don't really have that advantage.
Too bad, but the perfect counter coming out from Trump. So you look at the fiery war axe to take that out. I can't tell you how good it makes me feel killing a cleric with fiery war axe because they're so hard to deal with. But a nice counter there by Trump.
Yeah, and now he can't really play his Acolyte here because of that 3 and 4 health minion. So this is gonna be an Armor Smith turn for sure, and he's gonna not attack that turn. Wait for see what the board looks like next turn.
Double cultist though, that's a little bit rough to deal with. There aren't really good ways to get rid of double cultist because you kill one and it buffs the other one.
Yeah, so
So-
he actually has to execute though for the second one. So what he could do here, I mean, it's very very awkward either way because you don't want to waste a shield slam just to just attack that with the Armor Smith and Axe and play his Acolyte. If the other one that gets buffed next turn, he will just get executed the following turn because he's gonna attack into the Acolyte. So he's
Alright,
just playing a preemptive game here.
Yeah, it's a really smart play, and it does leave that cultist buffed and on the board. I don't think there's any chance of Amaz just going to face with that and trying to avoid that execute. So we'll just go ahead, clear out the Acolyte, and then get executed.
Yeah, another play would have been just to keep just armor up and equip the second Fire War Axe. But this is a bit better in my opinion. Because
Yeah.
if he didn't play a minion there and he actually healed like he did, you wouldn't be able to execute it.
Yeah, and I actually saw that heal, and I was like, oh no, he's not going to be able to execute it. And I was like, wait, you just get another armor. So suicides that in. That Armor Smith actually gave him a ton of armor compared to how effective it was at allowing him to trade out against those early double dark cultists. So.
Very interesting that he didn't decide to equip his fireworks there as well for the mana. I would like to see that actually.
Yeah, he kind of wastes 2 mana there.
Yeah, and he picks up a Sylvanas, which is really really bad at this stage in the game. You want to play it after the opponents play something big. He even has 2 Shadow of Death, so he can steal something, but he needs some other minion than Sylvanas now to keep up pressure. And there's a Cabal. I actually think that he will play the Cabal here, in even without any target, before the Sylvanas, because you want to save that Sylvanas until after your opponent plays some big stuff.
Yeah, and so what's big coming up for Trump? Trump's coming up on like turn 7, so if he plays like a Baron Geddon, maybe that'll come out. And, good for the Sylvanas. But really, it's gonna be those turn 8 and 9 plays.
He's actually considering skipping turn here before playing a naked Cabal Shadow Priest, and
he
I'm not
does.
sure if I agree with that.
Amaz
I mean,
passes his turn.
There are a lot of stuff you can use the Cabal Shadow Priest against, like Armor Smith and Acolytes, but I do believe instead of passing turn at turn 7, I think you should have played it. It's a Yeti for 6 mana, but it's better than playing nothing.
All right,
So
well,
this is the stuff that I was talking about. Like, I think you should just save all your heavy minions until after you get Alexstrasza. You don't want to coin out Ragnar's here because by your opponent not playing 4 power and 9 health, which is so hard to kill as a priest.
yeah, 4 health or 4 attack minions. Just what do you do with those? And in response, it's gonna be a good opportunity to drop that Sylvanas, like you said, after a big minion. But that's just, oh my gosh, how
And
does?
this is really good actually. He can faceless that Sylvanas and shield slam his own Sylvanas to steal his Sylvanas. So he has a great counterplay here.
And you're not gonna be able to do crazy things like he did it at DreamHack with shadow flaming Sylvanas to really like turn the game around and like blow everybody's minds. So
Yeah.
no warlocks here. So the ability to steal this Sylvanas, I mean, that's the play he has to. That's the play he has to go for right here.
Yeah, I
Because
don't see any other play here. I mean, no, I don't see a single other play because you need to remove his Sylvanas without it stealing something from you, and that's the only way you can do it. So there's just facelessing the like he's thinking about like maybe slamming his own groom and facelessing it to hit his face for 20 damage right now, and maybe pick up a kill later on. But that's really greedy play against a priest player because he can then steal one of the grooms next turn.
I mean, I guess so. I feel like the faceless Sylvanas play is just a little bit too good though, and he's just gonna go to face with both of them. So he's just planning on letting it get stolen and then taking it back.
Yeah, that's. But I don't like this play at all because he's gonna attack face and Shadow of Death his own Sylvanas, and then he's gonna be against a 4/9 Grumage. Uh, it would have just been 10 times better to faceless. Maybe I didn't even see the play, but faceless against Sylvanas was actually the optimal play there in any case scenario. So
Yeah, so missing out on that opportunity, but instead he will have the opportunity, like you said, to kind of take it back and deal with it next turn. The big thing to watch out for, though, at least for both players, they're starting to get down there within, maybe some lower totals for life. So they'll be able to, get those back with things like, the Holy Fire and armor ups and stuff
that
like that.
execute is really important here actually. I do believe this is a turn like Uh, Amaz is gonna have 10 mana next turn, so you have to be afraid of that mind control. But mind control is only one card. Is it worth the risk playing the Ysera here? I think it is. I think it is. Because you have that execute. Even if it gets stolen, you have an execute as an answer. And you can also faceless the Ysera and execute your opponent's Ysera if it gets mind control.
Oh man, we're starting to get into some big swings coming up here with things like Ragnaros, like Ysera, possibly to be played. Execute is going to be incredible here because when you go for the things like the slam, he's going to enrage it, and then I guess, what do you, faceless execute?
Yeah, he's gonna faceless that and execute it. I don't. Now that he picked up the Cairn, he might consider playing Cairn execute because Cairn is really hard to deal with as a priest. But he's gonna go for it. He knows that his opponent used one Shadow of Death, so it's not super likely that he has a second one. But we know that he has one, so this is gonna be
Yes.
easily dealt with.
And so Amaz will be able to reset the board off of this one. No Fiery War Axe to take him down to 10 health, but like you said, this will be a little bit of an evening of the score. It'll put Amaz back up in health if he wants to go for just like the Holy Fire to the face, but you kind of want to save that for trade potential.
Yeah, so we're just gonna see a Shadow of Death here, and I don't think he will play the Cabal because he didn't play Cabal at turn 7, so I don't think he will play it now. He
Yeah,
will just heal and pass turn. He's thinking about using the Holy Nova here as well. His the possibility of he doesn't have any Groom anymore, so there's no reason actually to use the Holy Nova here. You're not gonna die next turn. You know that for sure.
Let me change
Yeah, the Holy Nova, I don't think it's going to be too good for like board clear. We're to the point in the game where it's so late that the minions that are going to be played are just going to be too big for anything like the Shadow Madness, like the Cabal to really be useful. And it's good of Amaz to realize that and go for the Cabal play anyway, just realizing that there's probably not a whole lot that he can steal with it.
Yeah, so he decides to play a Naked Cabal here, and I'm really surprised with that because he could have played it so much earlier to create pressure, but he decides to play it last minute now. Uh, him going for... Oh wow, yeah. Maybe I would have liked to see the Rag there actually. I would like to see the Rag because he has seen that Amaz used both of his Shadow of Death, so that Karen is gonna be dealt with much easier than a Rag. The only card that could actually do something against Rag is Mind Control.
Yeah, and Amaz does run a mind control, but he hasn't drawn it just yet. Throws down the Ysera too. He's really saving that Rag for its power potential later on, after everything's been dealt with on the board.
Oh my god, Amaz just top decked Mind Control for Ysera. The only answer he had for that, and he just top decked it. That is so huge here. And this is actually crazy because he got the Crazed Alchemist for the Ysera, which is 12 damage, and then the 5 damage from Ysera's Awakening, and the 2 damage from Holy Nova.
Oh my god!
That's so much damage actually.
So what is that? That's like the 12 damage, 19. Oh my god!
So he's six damage short. So in 2 turns, he's gonna be able to kill him unless. Oh yeah, he's gonna go for the 50-50
Rag
here.
Snipe. Where is it gonna land? It does hit the Ysera! Oh my god!
That is so important.
And the thing that like baffles me, I know it's kind of like, you know, lore or myth, it's that Amaz is traditionally the guy that pulls out the big rag turns, but it's been consistently Trump almost every single one of these games, coming out with the biggest rag shots I've ever seen versus Amaz. And killing off that Ysera is huge, because now you can't use the Crazed Alchemist. You've got a rag of your own, which he does top deck, so now does he try to turn that rag back in his favor?
Yeah, I mean, you need to clear the 4-1 here, the Karen, and you need to play the Rag and hope that it hits his Rag. But the only way of clearing the Karen is actually Seer's Awakening. So it's not too good here, because it's already so low. So if he misses that Rag, he will actually die next turn. That's what he's considering here.
This is do or die. We'll play Ysera's to clear the board, or at least clear it of everything but the Rag, and then go for the 50-50. But like you said, the 5 damage to his face puts him at 11 life if he does that. Now, he is so close to dying right now, and especially if this Rag doesn't hit, it gets game over.
Yeah, this is game over if this Rag doesn't hit for sure.
Oh, where is it gonna go? And it does! Oh my god! Amaz in it for one more turn.
Yeah, and now we see Trump doesn't really have a lot of late game left. He already uses Ysera, Rag, and Groom. I'm not sure. I think
deck Zoo, so you never know with this guy. We'll see if he gets to it. In the meantime, it throws down the Laughing Sister and then a couple of low health. This is actually where you want something like the Cabal, but he still plays a Shadow Madness if he wants to go that route. But he can't use that Holy Fire on the Laughing Sister.
Yeah, so let's see here. We got a couple of options here. He's just gonna double Holy Nova here to almost clear the board.
But it still allows the Laughing Sister to take the Rag hit if possible.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if you want it to hit the Laughing Sister. No, actually, it's gonna clear because of that. Yeah, Death Rattle effect. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I didn't count that out. So, Rag survives, it clears the board. Circle of Healing now would keep the Rag out of execute range, so I guess he is gonna go for that.
That's for sure, because he already used 2 shield slams, so that's not gonna happen. The only thing that can kill him is an execute. I believe he only used 1 execute so far.
Oh, so now Sylvanas comes out. You can't like Sylvanas brawl here or anything crazy like that, but
no, I think that this is Sylvanas' turn though, and shield block. So you start with a shield block.
Yeah, you start with that. Draw into Alex, but not really the most useful card. And there is
actually
Sylvanas.
It's actually quite useful, because if the Rag misses the Sylvanas, you can actually take your heal yourself back up to 15.
Oh, that's true in the defensive aspect, but
Yeah.
still for Trump, that would basically use his entire turn just to get him back up to 15 health. And he does have that Sylvanas to trade into the Rag next turn if it does miss, so could be a big swing here. Now, let's see what Amaz can do right now. He's got Holy Fires, so he can give away his Rag for free right now and take out the Sylvanas. Probably not the option there, but he can create a swing in health if he does opt to use that.
Yeah, there's not really any good plays here. You can't Holy Fire the Sylvanas, you can't Holy Fire face. It's just a really awkward position here. Oh,
God.
I don't know, man, what to do here.
I don't know, Kev. It's not looking good for our heroes.
I think it's just playing the... No, you can't play the Crazed Alchemist because he'll just attack that with an axe and then he'll steal the Rag for sure anyway. So, the play here is actually just... Oh wait, if you can actually... Okay, so if you Holy Fire his face here and the Rag hits face, he's down to 4 HP, and if the Sylvanas trade with the Rag, next turn you can Crazed Alchemist the Rag with the... because he's gonna be at 3 health, and then you can Shadow Mana
take it with the...
yeah.
Oh my god!
So that's actually the best play here. Holy Fire face.
Way.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's always this, I think. This is.
Oh my god. That Shadow Madness could come into play on the Rag.
But it hits the Sylvanas and all his dreams are crushed right now. That would have been an epic play, actually.
If it had hit face and then... Oh my god. That would have been so sneaky, but now he's just going to play the Alexstrasza to get himself back up to 15 HP, and then... Oh, no, to take Amaz down to 15. The Rag will hit... Although, I mean, double Sludge Belcher is also an option here for a very safe kind of play.
But what can he really die from here? Like, there's nothing in Priest that can kill him right now. So he should just go for the offensive here, in my opinion. I mean, he knows that 2 Shadow Ward deaths are wasted. He knows that Mind Control is gone. So double Sludge Belcher will also win in the game, actually, because he can't remove that Rag. But he's playing around Organized Soul Priest Circle here, I think, by not playing the Sludge Belchers. So yeah, this is looking really tough here for Amaz.
He will Thought Steal and grab 2... relatively unhelpful minions, we'll put it that way.
All the big minions has already been played for Trump, so he knew that there was nothing good he could steal here, but he's gonna try hard this game to the last point.
Yeah, he'll heal himself out of Rag range, but he's just gonna... I mean, I don't think he's too confused about that. He has the axe, he has the ability to just one-shot the unstable ghoul with the Black Knight, and... Oh baby, it's not looking good for our heroes. Gonna take him out there, even has the ability to just hit him straight in the face, and well, there you go.
Yeah.
So good game, and that will be Trump taking out Amaz's Priest. So the attempt at coming back against Trump's Hunter, which was, you know, inevitably what brought Trump back versus Amaz, is not gonna be there. It's so crazy back and forth.
Yeah, that was a pretty great game, actually.
So now it's what does Amaz go for? His Hunter's been banned, so he's got the chance, the choice of his Druid, and that'll be what he goes to is his last hope to stay in the tournament. He's paying the ban and doing all kinds of other stuff. So he loads in here with the Amaz Druid versus Trump's Warrior, and I think this is the more standard kind of ramp Druid, not the the super taunt.
Yeah, there's not a lot of taunts in this deck. He runs Yetis and. He probably has something like 1, maybe 2 Sledge Belchers, but no more taunts than that, I think. Oh, wait, he is running Kel'Thuzad,
he does have Kel'Thuzad.
So that means that he might be running Ancient Wars, but saying Yetis then,
Alright, apparently we're going to have a little bit of a remake right now. Trump had some issues where he didn't actually load into the game, so... Somewhat unfortunate. I mean, Amaz can play the single player, but he's never actually going to get the opportunity to because Trump didn't actually load in. So I think they're going to restart this, but maybe taking a little bit of a break while we get into that. So in between things, let me actually once again remind you of the giveaway. So if you haven't done this yet, we'll be taking a break just so you can, which is good guy Hitbox, giving away two 20 euro Blizzard cards. So if you guys are interested in buying a ton of packs or putting the money towards another great Blizzard game, make sure to follow the channel. You click the follow button right down below, and that's all you need to do to enter yourself to win one of two 20 euro Blizzard cards. So just click the follow button. You're in the entry to win. And if you do win, then you'll be contacted via the email address that you used to sign up for Hitbox. And if that doesn't work, then make sure to tweet at Chaos TV. They're the ones putting on this tournament, and they'll hook you up with that. So make sure to hit the follow button, enter yourself to win one of two 20 euro Blizzard cards, and that should be all you need. But we're currently still waiting on Trump to get back in the game. It would appear as if there's been some pretty heavy technical difficulties, so we'll need to restart everything here. I've never actually seen this bug happen before, where you just don't load into the game. Have you ever had this one, Forsen?
No, not really. The first time I see this one.
All right, new and exciting thing. So we are going to restart things, get Trump back where he needs to be, and everything loaded in. So it's going to take a couple minutes. So in the meantime, we're going to cut to some more of the most excellent music. I'm going to spam some more corgis in chat because that's one of the great things you can do here on Hitbox. So enjoy a little bit of a break before we load in to what could be the last game of this series. Okay, well, that was a little bit of a shorter break than I expected, but it does look like everything's good to go. Trump with his warrior, and now Amaz with the druid. And we did actually mention that this is going to be more of the taunt Kel'Thuzad version of druid, rather than the version that we saw guys like RDU play earlier on. So there's a lot of flexibility, and I love that about druid, that you can play so many different styles with it. This is the big taunt Kel'Thuzad style coming out from Amaz.
Oh wow, here because previously we saw him playing Yetis, but now he has Shield Masters as well. This is really weird. If he's playing double Yeti and double Shield Master and Keeper of the Grooves, that's a really heavy forward curve there. Maybe was it the correct deck? Was that the problem? Maybe he switched deck.
No, it's the same deck. I was watching it pick
Okay.
it. It's the same. This is really strange. And like you said, a huge forward curve for him. He's got 3 of those minions in his hand. And while he does have the ability to drop that Senjin here on turn 2 with the Innervate, like you said, still going to be a big pile of 4s if he draws into it.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the correct play actually, because now he's gonna fuck up his curve so much. He could have innervated out this Belcher on turn 3, and then played the Ascending on turn 4. But now he's gonna hero power for 2 turns basically if he doesn't play any minions that he could use swipe on.
Yeah, Mott's going to hit a big dead period here in his curve. And I mean, to be honest, Trump doesn't have that great a curve either. He'll be able to coin out the Death Spite if he wants to this turn.
Yeah, but I don't think he wants to do that because if he attacks with Death Spite, then he will leave his Senjin at 1. And the Whirlwind effect is really great, but you need to attack for it to trigger. So he needs to attack a 3-1 for a Whirlwind, and that's like really bad.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. So it's just hero powers for both players for a little bit longer. I mean, in a couple turns, maybe you coin out the Black Knight, but at least for now, not a ton of options for either player.
Yeah, I mean, it really came back to bite him that it didn't wait one more turn for that Innervate. His curve would have been so much better. But Trump doesn't really have a lot of good plays here as well. He's just gonna equip the axe, and he's gonna attack as well. And that's actually, so that's actually really good. He's expecting something like a Sled Belcher now on turn 5, and then he can attack the Sled Belcher and clear the board completely except for the 1-2 ooze that remains.
Yeah, I think the best thing that Amaz could do is play like Druid of the Claw in charge mode right now, because then it would force the axe to to hit the other taunt, but most likely
And
he could have played the Sludge Belcher, but he played around
yeah,
that right there.
but yeah, Amaz knows that that was a possibility, so he's not gonna play into that complete board wipe. So
So
he's just gonna pass
that's
turn
three
here,
hero
but
powers in a row.
it's still bad. I mean, it's still bad. You have hero powered 3 times in a row. You haven't played a minion except for that Sendin. Sure, you're ahead on life, but Trump got a lot of late game here.
Oh, but does he swing into the Sentient at this point? Like, he's gonna keep taking 3 damage if he doesn't, and he will go for it.
Yeah.
So, my question
That-
is like, okay,
That's the jailbait. That's the jailbait that Amaz planted.
the 3-1.
Yeah.
It's too low health for anything else, but he kind of has to go for it. But a naked Sylvanas from Trump, that's just gonna get swipe hero powered.
Yeah, he can't play any minion into that. Faceless is not even a good option there, so he just needs to kill that. He's so high on life right now, so he doesn't need to worry about taking that 5 damage to the face.
All right, yeah, he's so far ahead. So 29 to 15 now, and sure, Trump will be able to stack on some armor here, and he will draw into at least a lot of his 7, 8, 9, some big late game curve. But at this point, Amaz is actually pretty far ahead. He's past the horrible part in his curve that he really had to worry about, and it's kind of weird that he got past that by hero powering 4 turns in a row.
I am really surprised that he decides to play that in front of the cow, because maybe he thinks that his opponent has a Black Knight, which he does in fact, but the cow is just so much stronger because it can't get shield slammed like that Belcher could have been.
Yeah, exactly, and especially it wasn't like he was short on mana or anything. He definitely had enough to make that one work. Does come up with a Mark of the Wild, so not sure if
Yeah.
that's super
That-
huge or anything. He can actually use that on opponent's minions and then Black Knight them.
Yeah, you can, and that's actually gonna be his only play against Ysera when it comes out, because he doesn't have a silence in his hand right now. But right now, I think you want to play something that can kill that Belcher. He's thinking about marking of wilding his own minion and facelessing it to get 2, 5, 7 taunts with death rattles to get through. But I do believe you want to save that because you know that your opponent is playing Ysera. You know that you don't have a silence right now. So how are you gonna deal with that Ysera without Mark of the Wild Black Knight? But he's gonna hope that his opponent doesn't have it, and let's see if it's gonna pay out or not.
I don't know, Kev. We'll see. There's 8 mana and a lot to do with it. If you're Trump, you don't want to throw down the Grommash. You've got the Rag in hand, but I guess he can't just play the Belcher and go for either Hero Power or Fiery War Axe. What does he do? I mean, he has Shield Slam too.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to go for a Black Knight and execute here. I do 5/7. That's a very good target to Black Knight, and you get so much tempo back into the game with that 4/5 drop as well. So either you use the Shield Slam or the execute on that Belcher. Preferably the Shield Slam, or I mean, preferably the execute, of course. Already damaged, and
Yeah,
he's
so
gonna
he'll
drop
be
the Black Knight.
Yeah, I'll be able to take down both of those big Belchers, and that was so much for Amaz. Amaz invested both a Faceless and that Mark of the Wild into that, and that's neither one of those things that he'll have to use on Trump's big monsters that he's going to play in the next couple turns.
Yeah, for sure. And he needs to top deck a silence next turn, because otherwise he can't deal with that Ysera. So he's in a really tough spot here.
Yeah, I'm still thinking back to late game where we could have seen a crazed alchemist Ysera. I was hoping for that play so badly,
Yeah.
but with Ysera coming right back into play again, Amaz does have a Sylvanas, which under the right circumstances could deal with Ysera, but I don't think Trump would ever put himself into that position. So 9 mana, what do you do with it?
Picks up a Harvest Golem, not the greatest. I mean, yeah, he could play the Horus Golem here and swipe and Hero Power, which clears the board completely. But it's still, the problem remains. How is he gonna deal with this Ysera? I mean, there is basically nothing in his hand that could, you could play the Sylvanas, but that won't solve the problem right away. I mean, you have to wait one turn and then maybe make something happen. But yeah, he's just gonna go straight for the Ysera here. Not hesitating. Oh, he is hesitating. Oh.
No, he
Like,
does drop this Ysera. Gets a nightmare off of it too.
he needs to
So
be a bit scared though, because his opponent has not used silence yet, so he needs to think that he has a silence, but in fact he does not. So
as nothing but that Sylvanas. So Sylvanas comes down, and I mean he's got some other drops that he could go for. He could iterate out the Soonwalker, but I don't know. Like you
yeah,
said, there's nothing to deal with the Ysera.
he's thinking about intervening it out. He's thinking about the possibilities of brawl, playing into brawl. If he brawls here, the Sylvanas will steal the Ysera if it survives, but he's gonna play into brawl anyway. This is kind of a risky play here.
I guess he figures if he brawls, sure he loses a lot, but that does deal with the Ysera. So
Yeah.
I don't know. As is, there's no brawl in hand. What's the play here? He's got the ability to take down both of those taunt monsters, but that Sunwalker is actually a little bit difficult to deal with. But at this point, he can kind of just sit on Ysera and wait to draw a bunch of cards.
Yeah, I mean, you have, even if he steals this Ysera next turn, you can kill it with something like Nightmare BGH. So you're not too afraid of him getting the Ysera for one turn. But I don't see any like perfect play here actually. It's really tough here for Trump.
All right. Well, it does look like the play will include the Armor Smith. I can throw that one down, and then
Maybe you just play the Armor Smith and the Belcher and try to buy yourself some more time, get some more cards from that Ysera before it gets stolen. And that's what it's gonna do here.
so he's gonna send the Ysera to break that
Yeah.
Divine Shield.
You want it damaged, so if it gets stolen, you could easily kill it.
Yeah, but it is going to draw him another card. It's a Laughing Sister. It seems like I get more Laughing Sisters than any other cards from Ysera.
Yeah, the best cards are for sure Ysera's Awakening and Dream. Those are the two best cards you can draw in most of the scenarios. But right now it's not too bad with the Laughing Sister.
All right, now Amaz rather is going to be able to get through the Sludge Belcher this turn, and he'll have those two others. But this is just armor and armor and armor coming Trump's way. He's back up to 22 health this turn, and Amaz, he's had the health lead all game long, but the more armor that Trump gets, the more he's going to be able to use that. I think that was his last shield slam, if
Yeah.
I'm correct.
It was. And he's gonna uproot here, I mean taunt mode here, and he's not afraid of Ysera's Awakening that much, because you know that actually Ysera's Awakening would be pretty bad here, because you can run the Ysera into that taunt mode and then the Armor Smith and clear everything and let him steal a 4/4 4/3 Ysera that you can easily deal with just a War Axe. So, but he did not get an Awakening. You know that.
All right, well, let's see. He's got one Armor Smith on the field. He's still got that Ragnaros
To play. You could go for the Nightmare on the Sylvanas. BGH it. You play the Laughing Sister and Armor Smith as well, and hope that it steals one of those, like Armor Smith preferably, but maybe Laughing Sister, not the Ysera, and get another card from the Ysera for some turns.
Oh man, well, Trump is gonna play the Armor Smith, and then, like you said, if he goes for the Laughing Sister second, he might try for that just good RNG play.
Yeah.
But that does risk a lot from going for that. And I mean, even if he steals something else, like there's a big board that Amaz has developed, and without something like Brawl, there's not a whole lot of ways to get through that other than like Ysera Awakens or.
Yeah, so he's running out of time here, so he needs to make his decision quickly, and he's hovering the Armor Smith. He's hovering. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, he's just
Nightmare.
gonna trade things out.
No, he's not. He's still not using the Nightmare BJH combo just yet. He's saving it for a sunnier day.
Gets another Laughing Sister in hand. So I was talking about, like, you get tons of Laughing Sisters. So he's gonna be laughing a lot, but I don't know. This next turn is gonna be big for Amaz. He's got what is that?
He can actually steal that Ysera right now. by running his 5-10 into a 1-4, his Horus Golem into the 1-3, hero powering it, trading the Sylvanas into the Laughing Sister. And I think he's gonna do that play, but first you can draw cards if you want to, because you're gonna have some mana remaining.
All right, draws into Kalthazad
Oh,
and
if
the
he would have
Black
gotten
Knight.
that last turn, that would have been actually so sick with the Sylvanas.
Because then you get Sylvanas back over and over again.
Yeah.
And at that point, you just reach for the concede button as fast as possible.
So he's making the play that I was talking about, which is the best play by far in this scenario. He's gonna steal the Ysera, he's gonna have a 5, 9 and a 5-5 on the table. The only thing that can bring this back now in Trump's favor is a Brawl.
And how many times have we seen Brawl turn it around? And he top decks the Brawl!
Oh my god, really?
Oh, baby!
So, you have the Brawl. I do believe you play your Laughing Sister here, because he has so many big stuffs on the board, so you need to play something of your own to minimize the odds of any one of those surviving.
Man.
You could also do another play, and that is just brawling, and then if something big survives, you can play the Nightmare and BGH to kill it off. But I do prefer the Laughing Sister here, actually.
Yeah, and that's exactly the play Trump's gonna go for, man. His top deck has to be so hard right now, like, oh my god. And let's see what wins the Brawl.
Oh
It is
my
the
god.
Laughing Sister.
Laughing his
What
face
did
right now.
Trump just do? He completely turned the game around. He's back up to 29 HP. And he's got the board control, an axe in play, and Amaz has to be thinking to himself.
And
like,
that Brawl was actually, if he didn't get that Brawl that turn, it would have been game over, because he would have been able to play Kel'Thuzad next turn, and you can't kill Kel'Thuzad like without. Oh, he actually has Nightmare and BGH, but the rest of the minions would have survived if you couldn't kill the Kel'Thuzad, because he had taunts up.
oh my god. Well, at this point, I mean, Amaz does have, a Laughing Sister of his own, so he gets Laughing Sister and a Sledge Belcher, so it's not like either player is really at risk of dying, but it's all about the momentum, because we are getting here towards the end game. A lot of resources have been expended, and man, I just can't get over that Brawl. That was, to quote Admirable again,
Pretty
a
sick. He's gonna
huge
throw
play.
out Groom here, actually. That's interesting. I would much rather have seen the Rag here, actually. For
We'll
sure.
be able to trade down, but there's, especially with that BGH in Amaz's hand, he is not too worried about the Grommash.
Yeah. The Gromash, I mean, he's thinking if it survives, he actually has lethal next turn, because he can Nightmare and Faceless it, but it's not gonna survive, because he has a BGH in his hand. Oh, he's gonna play the Kel'Thuzad though. He's gonna play Kel'Thuzad and sacrifice his 3-5, which is a superior play, because you keep your BGH for next turn for the Ragnaros.
Well, that's actually really smart too, usually utilizing that Kel'Thuzad, and now Trump has a couple of plays in hand. He can drop the Ragnaros, he can go for the Nightmare BGH combo to get rid of Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah,
But-
I think that the optimal play here is actually facelessing that Kel'Thuzad, slamming it, using Fiery War Axe to attack it, and then sacrifice your 3... Oh, he's trying to Nightmare his own... Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can't Nightmare the Laughing Sister.
Yeah, but if he faceless that Kel'Thuzad, he can actually kill it with Slam, Axe, and the Laughing Sister, and then get the Laughing Sister back. So that's actually the optimal play here, in my opinion. And you have the 6-8 that can't get BGH by your opponent instead of the Rag that can actually be BGH.
Yeah, I think the only way you could BGH that is if you had something like Mark of the Wild, and he already used that, so I think he only runs one of them in the deck too, so no possibilities there. So yeah, just gonna go for the Faceless. We'll see if he does the Slam combo next, and I think he will.
Yeah, it looks
So
like
no, he's actually Nightmaring BGHing it.
Oh wow,
um,
I do not
yeah,
like that play
I think
that much.
saving the Nightmare for lethal later on would have been a good option.
Yeah,
but as
for
is,
sure. That Laughing Sister is not even gonna die here. Like,
yeah,
I
so
don't
he
see
doesn't
the
get any
point in that.
value off the Kel'Thuzad.
No, that was a really weird play there by Trump. But we'll see. Maybe he has some grand master plan in the end.
Yeah, so that BGH, at least for now, is a pretty dead card. Amaz, he'll draw into an Ancient of War, and he can play that, but at the same time, like, he's really just not developing this board. And with Kel'Thuzad out, like, I don't think Trump cares about suiciding as much into it as he wants.
Oh, there's actually no play he can make here, because If he plays that Ancient of War, it will just get traded by the 4-2, the 3, and the axe, and then those two will respawn. So he will have gotten nothing from that except wasted a charge on his axe.
So is Amaz just dead here? I mean, he's not facing off against lethal next turn because that nightmare was used earlier.
Yeah. What can you cycle for here? What can you really cycle for? I don't know, man. He used both swipes.
Yeah, there's only so many options left. I mean, you're down like 20 cards in your deck. You're coming up on the end of the options that you have, and Trump just sitting with a huge board.
Yeah, there is actually no good play here. No good play at all. I think he just cycled the Wrath. I don't know actually what he has in his deck, but I don't think there's anything that can kill that.
Well, he is going to go for the cycle, and a cycle of life and death continuing. But what's he going to get off of that? Yeah, he gets the silence actually.
Silence, that's actually really, really good.
At least he doesn't have to worry about minions respawning, and he'll stay alive.
What? Didn't kill the Laughing Sister with 1 health? Oh yeah, he just went full Reynard in this game.
Oh my god.
He ran out of time admitting a mistake. Yeah.
The rope
kill the Laughing
hanging
Sister for sure.
And so now he's going to take that 3 damage twice, getting attacked and then having to clear it next turn. If he can, but if you look at the slam coming out, this is just going to be a great turn for Trump. He's going to be able to kill that the keeper, hit everything to the face, and play Ragnaros the turn after. Or not the turn after, but right. Yeah, the turn after he drops the Cairn.
Yeah, this is it basically over here. I don't see any way of him coming back to this game.
Yeah, where's that Ysera's Awakening when you need it? I don't know. But he throws down the taunt. He's going to root it up and I guess put as big a wall as he can. Yeah. Well, this turn he hit the sister at least, so he made up for that mistake later on, but this is just not going to cut it.
Still 3 damage that he took for nothing.
Yeah, this is at the end of the game when your health total really matters, and there's just not a good way of getting yourself back into this. And even though Kel'Thuzad is silenced, there's still the Execute in hand. The Ragnaros is coming out, and he's going straight to the face with this. And also straight to the bank with an excellent play. And Trump coming up big in a very